everybody can take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. LSU found a coach, so we're safe. But it wasn't cheap, so I know hopefully he'll do what he needs to do. Just real quick, Chad Bacchus from Fort Blatta Engineers. I'm not going to stay up here long. I'm going to have somebody else come up in just a second. But we're just proud to be in the parish. We've been here for 20 years. We're offering engineering and surveying services. And I think it's just helpful to know the community, know the people you're working with, the business, the parish, the city, everybody that we're dealing with is always there to help each other, and we just make a great team. So we appreciate that. So just a quick introduction. One of our newest owners, and one that's been born and raised here in Livingston Parish, Brad Holloman joined Fort Blatta, and he's been with us for about a year now. He's one of our senior vice presidents. He's over our surveying and advanced measurements group. So his leadership over our surveying section, which currently is about half of our business right now, just comes with confidence, and we have a lot of pride, and I know he'll take it to new levels. Brad told me he learned all of his leadership skills from Livingston Leadership, and I know we got two other ones at our table here in the front. Y'all want to raise your hand for Fort Blatta? We got a table here. Thank you guys for coming out. But anyway, so I'm going to invite Brad just to come up and say a few things about our surveying section. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Chad. It's a privilege to be here today representing Fort Blatta. As a lifelong resident of Livingston Parish and a proud graduate of Denham Springs High School, LSU, as well as the Livingston Leadership Program, I have a vested interest in the success and well-being of this parish. I was honored when Joey and Chad offered a partnership at Fort Blatta that allows me to continue to serve this community through engineering and land surveying solutions. This year, we're celebrating our 60th year in business, and we strive to continue to provide exceptional engineering and land surveying services. We strive to do this by investing both within our team members as well as emerging technologies. In the last 12 months alone, we've heavily invested in remote sensing technology that allows us to map and survey existing site conditions from the air through the use of our drone, underwater through the use of our multi-beam hydrographic surveying equipment, as well as our mobile mapping highway equipment. Our goal is to couple the sound surveying principles of the past while pushing the threshold of emerging technology and employee concepts. So now it's my privilege to announce to you our parish president, Mr. Leighton Ricks, who's going to give us his remarks on the state of the parish. Mr. Ricks?
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Appreciate all of you being here. You know, I've always said this, and I still say it today, 10 years later. It's a privilege and an honor to serve the people of Livingston Parish, and I truly view that as me serving you all, not you me. With that, thank you to you all and to the people in Livingston Parish that supported the renewal of the road sales tax. That was just a tremendous burden off of our administration. Because obviously, as we said, while we were trying to get it passed, without those funds, we were sunk. To tell you the difference, on average, we had about $1.5 million. Of course, 3/4 of that is for the road drainage work, 25% of it for the jail. But out of those funds, we've been able, because of the debt, been able to do about $1.5 million a year. That's all we were able to do. The last several years, paying the bond and debt in its back. But because this passed, and because we now have that debt paid off, we're going to do roughly $13.2 million worth of road work in 2022. That we think will kick off a little earlier than it normally does. This past year we did around 7.5, but what we've had to do in the past is skip a year or two and then double up and try to triple up to do a large project, because it's a lot less expensive to move companies around if you can have them on the job. So I wanted to say that because I hadn't been able to get in front of anybody to thank everybody since the COVID and the hurricane and all these other things that prevented us from being together. It's just really good to see all of you. I don't typically like to read, but because I've got so much information, I'm not going to give all of it out or read all of it, but I want to make sure and get some of it out to you. Also, because the sales base has grown like it has, we were able to give our employees a 50 cent raise, not 50%, 50 cent an hour raise versus the normal 10 cents because we were able to keep our health insurance at zero cost increase, which is just almost unheard of. But we were able to do that for a lot of different reasons, and a lot of people have helped us in that regard. So that is huge for us. Y'all all know the increase in cost of health insurance. And again, I'm gonna go to this just a little bit. We were also able to purchase 11 trucks, 1 trailer and subsurface drainage camera trucks, where typically we've been leasing a lot of our equipment. We're now gonna be able to buy it, which will save us a lot of money overall because we have a good maintenance crew. We have a good crew at DPW that, believe it or not, really do take care of our vehicles and our equipment the best they can. And so in the long run, that will save us a lot of money, I think, as we move forward. With the ARPA funding, with being able to keep the insurance costs down, with the sales tax being where it is, we're going to be able to hopefully get a lot of work done, a lot of projects done in this parish that we haven't in the past just done anything but talk about. A lot of you don't realize we did $43 million worth of drainage work after the 2016 flood. 43 million. And we still have projects on the books to move forward. Well, Hurricane Ida comes through as we're wrapping some of those projects up, and we got to start over. It just made us want to cry when we flew over and looked at all of this. It was just gut-wrenching. Act of nature, nothing you can do about it. We got to go out and find funding now. FEMA doesn't want to fund that again. So what we're going to do is go to NRCS, which will hopefully, and we feel confident they will, approve us to move forward and start getting the waterway cleanup done. Out of Hurricane Ida, we've had so far, in 2 passes, well over 1 million cubic yards of debris. Well over 1 million cubic yards in debris. So you can see the difference in the hurricane and how it hit, especially on the eastern and southern part of the parish versus the flood. It was just a difference in the way it works. But out of that, we have done, I'm scared to say the number, I don't have it in front of me either, many millions worth. And with that, there is a number to call. We put this out, but just so I'll say it again, just for the cameras, it's 225-394-2734. Get it out. They're going to start picking up again one last round. We're not going to double back. We're not going back to the streets that people come out after that and put out. Get it out between now and Monday, because once they start, they're going to make a clean sweep on every street across the parish, with the exception of Denham Springs. They do their own pickup to pick up that last load. So be sure and pass that on. But the sales taxes, just to give you an idea, we collected 20.6 more in sales tax for the year 2021 over 2019-20. In 21-22, the beginning outpacing that year by 11.1% so far. So thank you. Businesses are booming. Real estate is booming. Things are moving forward. The parish is continuing to move forward. Something we've worked on and talked a lot about, that you've heard a lot about, that I will take some of the blame for, was the substantial damage issue from the 2016 flood. I am so proud to announce we are now back in good standings with the National Flood Insurance Program, which means a year from the day I got the letter, which I think was 2 days ago, we will start to be able to receive the 10% discount again. We're making steps that will move us up into a higher category, which will allow us to have an even bigger discount. I'm going to read you a little something that was sent to me. Many of you have heard me talk about Mark Harrell through the years. Mark Harrell. I know most of you have probably had some dealings and met Mark Harrell. He's different little character, but unique in a lot of ways. And I, of course, love him to death. He's been my Homeland Security Director, my Executive Director over Homeland now that he's beginning to retire out. This was sent to Mark and to myself. Hey, Mark, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I'm beyond proud to have worked with you over the last few years to get to this resolution. You've made a huge impact for a lot of people in Livingston Parish, and I've learned a lot working with you. Thank you, Mark. From Charlie Cook, Branch Chief of FEMA. That's what relationships will do for you. That's what tenacity, persevering, and working through any kind of obstacle, knowing who to call, when to call, how hard to push, when to back off, when to take a deep breath, and when to tell them, no, you got to get it done. That's Mark Carroll. Now, obviously had a lot of help with permitting, had a lot of help in the LoSEP department with a lot of staff, but that's what Mark was able to get done for the people, and I want to make sure he gets the credit, I don't get it. That's what he did for the people in Livingston Parish, for all of you and for myself as well. So hats off to him. But the main thing is the people in the parish benefit from that. And I'm just really, because I'm going to tell you, I was worried about that. I make no apologies for what I did in 2016. I will always, and I've told FEMA this, told the governor this during Hurricane Ida, I will always do what I can to get our people back in their homes and then try to deal with all the bureaucracy and the red tape. But I did learn from this. And I hope I can do it within their guidelines. But it's important when people are standing in front of you. I mean, you know, I understand in Washington, D.C., they make all these rules, but when people are standing in front of you, that's what counts. It's our people. It's helping. It's getting them back in. That's what I'm elected to do. But you do get to deal with this, too. And so we've come a long way since the 2016 flood in that regard. Just to touch briefly, we've had 11 new subdivisions under 100 lots. We've got 11 over 100, 7 multifamily developments. Most of you know my pet project is the Cook Road extension. It is going to be let in January, I believe, Preston. In January, probably a 2.5 year build out with all that has to be done to complete that. We've been working on that. I ran on that in 2011. My predecessor was working on it before then. And with the mall built, we've all talked about it over and over again. I didn't know if I would live long enough to see it. But if the good Lord's willing, it does look like it has now reached a point where construction will start in January. And that is just going to be huge for the shoppers between Denham and Juban, but especially for the mall because that was part of the agreement when the mall was built. So I'm very proud of that. Another major road that we've gotten started on now is the Juban North extension. That will be a parish project that we are seeking funds through the MPO and I think through the Capital Outlay Program through Representative Mency and Senator Pope. So that project will start typically, as I just mentioned and that's with everybody on board wanting to do the projects. A new road is somewhere between 10 and 12 years, although they're a mile and a half, or 2 miles long. So it just takes a while to get it done. I don't know why it takes so long, but it does. But there's a lot of things going on in the parish. We're looking at Highway 447, Demco, Capital Outlay Program, Capital Outlay with Dunn Road's complete, Buddy Ellis Road and Bridge is complete, Forrest Delat Road Bridge, Sims Road. Of course, a lot of things the state is doing as far as the roundabouts, like them or not like them, they're coming. But Cook Road, Sims Road, Amite Church Road is all moving forward. The airport, we just committed $2.4 million to help them with drainage through the Arbor Recovery Funds, not through the general fund of the parish. The airport is moving forward. That, I think, will be a big economic boost for that area. I've talked about it now for a number of years, and I give Delia Taylor and her board the credit for that because they have worked very, very hard, again, with our delegation and and on the national level as well. Some of the grant projects dealing with drainage, we've been able to do water quality, sewer improvements. By the way, we've given all of our sewer now through CAs to the sewer district. The parish is now technically out of the sewer. We've turned it over to guys that know what they're doing and can also shoulder it from a manpower standpoint. That's a good move in this movement with the council trying to get parish-wide drainage, parish-wide sewer, and parish-wide water, all these things that we've talked about, we're now beginning to see happen. Another thing while I'm talking about that, and before I forget it, zoning introduction has been done now and an ordinance put in place. I don't want anybody to freak out that sees it on camera. Zoning is not in place in your districts yet, but the steps have been taken. We know that's coming. And I've encouraged the council members to meet with their constituents to figure out what they want to do in each district and let the people have a voice in that, and I'm assured that they will. But it's just got to happen. I would love for things to stay like they were 25 years ago, but you can't grow, you can't move forward at the rate we are and not take some steps to protect people that are already here, that are already paying taxes and supporting the parish. It has to be done. So they're going to move forward, and I know they'll do it responsibly. But COVID mitigation, flood protection, we've been able to change all the HVAC systems out of all the buildings because of these funds, these grant dollars. DPW work request has just been astronomical, and I know a lot of it is still dealing with some of the flood as well as the hurricane. Over 5,482 requests this year. They've closed out over 3,500, so obviously they still have a roughly 19 to 2,000 left to go. But everybody's working. I mean, they really are working very hard, and it just things are busy, but they're falling into place. They're moving forward like we want them to, but a lot of it just takes a lot of time. That's pretty much what I have. I could go through a lot of details, but I know you're not interested in hearing all that. But just in improvement, 9 projects that totaled over $44 million. We're looking at home elevation, West Coryell, Civic Road, Amite River drainage improvements we're working on. 300, I forgot to tell you the number, 390 miles of waterway is what was cleaned up for that $43 million. Can you imagine? So a lot of things going on. We were able to get water wells done, sewer projects. None of it we're done with, none of it we're through with. The parish is moving forward, but just to give you a little bit of idea of where we're heading, the airport, the debris program, as I mentioned, the road program. Now I'm going to talk about that elephant in the room that nobody likes to talk about, but that we have to find funding for, is the animal control shelter. We cannot continue to limp along with no funding, no reoccurring funding to support animal control. We've done remarkably well through adjudicated property, through some decisions we made a couple of years ago where we pooled it all up, and it carried us and sustained us through most of next year. I say all that to say that I'm going to come back before you at some point. The council and I will get together and discuss some of these things on trying to find a way. I think we've met with Representative Mincy and again with Senator Pope and others. We've got to find some funding, whether it be a millage, whether it be a little tax, whether it be something that none of us as Republicans like to talk about. We've got to do it. And for people who continue to say that the parish has all this money, we do not. We do not. On average, just in a millage standpoint, we have roughly 10%, I won't quote all the intimate details, numbers, but roughly 10% of what the city of Walker, Albany, Denham, all these municipalities collect, we get roughly 10%, but yet we're responsible for the whole parish. That's why, again, it was so important that we get that sales tax renewed, and thank God we did. The road program will continue to move forward. As I mentioned, zoning, that's pretty much it. We did have a good, clean budget again this year. I'm very proud to announce that's one thing we have stressed over and over repeatedly. Jennifer Myers has done a remarkable job with that budget. She will not let me spend it when I want to, and although I might get aggravated with her, she told me one day, I'm going to repeat this, and sorry, camera, but one day we was really going at it hot and heavy over the budget, and most of you that have seen Jennifer and talked to her, she can get loud and get boisterous, and and she don't mind talking to me just like she would anybody else, and I love that about her. I can't tell her that, but I love that about her because I got to stay in check, right? She is who keeps me in line. And I told her one day, I said, Jennifer, one of these days I'm going to come across this dadgum desk at you. And she said, come on, I ain't whipped nobody's ass in a long time. What? Well, we both started laughing. Doors had already closed up and down the hallway, and you heard doors open because she and I both started laughing. But she was serious. And I thought she was serious. So I said, well, you're right. You're right. And, but I respect Jennifer Myers for the job she has done on the books for this parish. And, it has kept us on the straight and narrow. It has helped us streamline and do some things that we probably wouldn't have been able to do long term. We're moving some of our buildings. We're shifting the old city, courthouse in Livingston. We're doing a CA with Mayor Taylor in the town of Livingston to utilize that. We've moved some other buildings. We're going to move the registrar of voters down to the assessors. We've gotten rid of the old assessor building. We're trying to streamline so that we can utilize dollars that we have to spend to the best of our ability. We've paid that jail fund debt down. Where we thought it would take 8 years, we will have it down to just about zero before long, which will free up more general fund dollars that we can utilize. So through Jennifer's, and I'm going to say it, through her leadership with that budget and her persevering, because I have stretched her thin on it many, many times, wanting to do some things. And I've tried to explain to her, when people come out here wanting things done, and they ask you to help them get things done, as an elected official and standing before them, you want to do it. You want to try to do it. And she reminds me all the time about the long term, the long term, the long term. And she's 100% right. So I do want to give her credit where credit is due. With that, I think I'm done. I just want to say again, it is a blessing to serve you all and to be a part of Livingston Parish. I have thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it and continue to enjoy it to this day. Thank you.